Hello, my name is Jordan Metzger-Dixon, and for my ethnic studies final project, I will be making matzo ball soup because I am Jewish by birthright, which means my mom and her side of the family is Jewish, so with that, I am born Jewish. So I will be using my grandmother's recipe. And yeah, so we're gonna start. We need 4 eggs, which we have. We need matzo meal. We need seltzer or any kind of sparkling water, and extra virgin olive oil. So I will start by beating the 4 eggs in a bowl for 30 to 60 seconds. Start with this. Oh, got a shell in there. Last one. One second, let me rinse off my fingers. Alright, so we want to be careful not to overbeat these eggs while we're only doing it for about 30 to 60 seconds, because later we're going to be adding the seltzer and the olive oil, and we're going to be beating that more. Should be good. So now we're gonna add in the seltzer, and we need half a cup. There we go. Give me a little measuring spoons. Alright, there's our half a cup. And we'll be adding 1/3 cup extra virgin olive oil. Now, as I said before, we will be beating this for an additional 15 to 30 seconds, roughly. So this dish really means a lot to me and really hits close to home because growing up, we call this the Jewish penicillin. So any kind of sickness, any kind of feeling under the weather of any kind, my grandma would make this for us, and the next day, you're just feeling so much better. Alright, so now we need a cup of matzo meal. Okay, so now we're going to mix this together until just combined. And then we will be putting it in the fridge for about 30 minutes so it can stiffen up and get firm. Right, there we go. So let's see if I can show you. This is kind of what it's looking like. Not much yet, but it'll all come together shortly. So now I'm going to cover this just with paper towel. And I'll place this in the fridge. Be right back. Okay, so while that sits for about 30 minutes, I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory on me. So, growing up Jewish, it was a struggle. I was in a very small school, kindergarten through 8th grade, and I was the only Jewish student there, so it went unnoticed until about middle school, and then some kids found out, and I was bullied because of it. At PE, they would take the small, cones, and they would put it on the back of my head to say, like, where's your yarmulke, you're Jewish. They would make a lot of very rude and hurtful jokes. They would often do the Heil as the Nazis did because they just thought it was funny. And never really understood. I went to teachers, went to my mom, and eventually it got sorted out, but it was hard growing up with that. And I knew the same 20 kids since 1st grade. So these kids never really went away, so they stayed for most of the time. But the good side of it was growing up, my mom and her whole side are Jewish, so we celebrated a lot of the holidays together, a lot of good meals, and yeah, so what we would do, we'd do Hanukkah, Passover, and Rosh Hashanah, and with that, we'd go to my grandparents' house or my grandparents' friend's house to celebrate, and we'd have very large meals. They would print out booklets, and we would go through pictures, prayers, sing songs, have a meal, do our courses, and yeah, it was a really good time. Really brought us together, made me feel welcomed, and taught me to be proud of who I am. But also with that, my dad's side of the family are not Jewish, so we would still celebrate Christmas and Easter and all of the other big holidays, and they still really accepted me and my mom's side of the family. And yeah, I will be back when the matzah is set. We'll see you shortly. All right, we are back. So now the matzah has firmed in the fridge. It's kind of what it looks like. It's not that appetizing, but it's pretty good. So first, with either wet or oiled hands, I'm gonna take a scoop out and roll them into balls. I'm gonna just oil my hands a little bit, just to make sure that it doesn't stick, Alright, so let's get a little spoonful. Start with about that much. And just roll. Nice and easy. And there we go. We have a matzo ball. I'm just gonna place them on a little baking sheet just to hold. Actually, I'm just gonna use my hands. It's a little easier. Alright, you can make them really any size you want. I'm gonna do about 1 inch around. Right. Add a little bit more to this one. Alright, they're starting to stick into my hand, to my hands a little bit more. So let me rinse this off and I will re-oil my hands. Also on the stove, I have a pot of well-salted water that I'm gonna bring to a boil, and then once it reaches that and once I'm done, I'm gonna bring it down to a simmer, and that's when I will cook these for 30 to 40 minutes, roughly, and then it'll be good to enjoy. Just add a little bit more. It's starting to boil right now. Get them nice and balled up. They're a little bit soft, but I think it's gonna be okay. So as I was saying before, you know, school growing up especially middle school, was pretty tough. I was made fun of on the daily, and you know, these kids, they really were just trying to get a laugh. I think they truly just didn't understand, and they just saw that I was different, and they thought it was funny. They tried to use that to their advantage, but I really found my sanctuary and found my home with my family, and on these holidays with other Jewish family members and members of this community. I would go to temple, I would go to bar and bat mitzvahs of my cousins, which are like their 13th birthday. It's very symbolic. Like for boys, when they're kind of becoming a man. I'm gonna rinse my hands off real quick. And most of my family, other than my aunt, uncle, and that family, they're all on the East Coast in New York, Florida, New Jersey, so I don't really get to see them a lot other than on these special occasions. So I really enjoyed that growing up. And yeah, I'm very thankful for my family. They really gave me a lot of opportunities to find myself and connect with others who were also Jewish, because I really didn't have that in school. I chose not to go to Hebrew school. I stayed in public school, which was right around the corner from my house, And yeah, eventually I made some pretty good friends. I became very close with them and their families. They welcomed me with open arms, which at the time I wasn't fully used to, and I'm still very close friends with them today. All right, got our last one here. Get this here, take a little bit more. This one didn't come together as well, but it's okay. I'm gonna rinse my hands off. So right now, because these balls are starting to look pretty soft and kind of sinking a little bit, I'm gonna throw them back in the fridge for about 10 minutes. And when they fully firm up, then I will put them in the boiling water. That will become a simmer. And the rest will be history. So I will see you soon. Alright, so our matzo balls are finished. As you can see, they puffed up a good amount. So I will take these off the heat. I've already taken one out and cut one open. And that's a matzo ball. Thank you.